what is your advice for people who feel stuck in negativity and can't seem to break free?
And as I said before, give yourself a hug, give yourself permission to give yourself some grace, to stop being so hard on yourself and try that flipping the script. When you think everything is so overwhelming, think of something to make you happy and do that.
A while ago, you mentioned about the circular thinking, right? So
Yeah.
how would you recommend tackling circular thinking and stress? About stress, you mentioned going on a walk and exercising, physical activity would do, but most importantly, how to tackle the circular thinking in today's fast-paced world.
So I don't worry anymore. And so that's what I want to offer is as soon as a worry begins, remind yourself, chances are it's never going to happen 9% of the time. So let's wait till it happens before we develop a million scenarios because those scenarios will never happen. Something else will. Think back on all the times you worried. And you know what? What I'm saying, what that research shows is really true. I know what it's like to be stuck in a cycle of negativity, to want to thrive in your life. You go after your goals, and it's really important to go after your goals, yes, because that sense of accomplishment leads to building self-confidence, self-esteem, resilience, all of that. So yes, but we need boundaries and we need to find ways to enjoy life too, not just work, work, work.
Now let's talk a bit about your book, 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck. So can you share a sneak peek into one or two of these steps? So, folks, you have tuned into TGV and hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, the world's only quadrilingual podcast at this moment of recording. And we are trying to embark into multiple languages as we speak. And here we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. And we want to simplify and amplify your journey to success. I'm your host, Navin Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place by bringing you wisdom through valuable discussions with experts designed to simplify and amplify your success. And thank you so much for tuning in. So, folks, we are joined by the most energetic person today, Deborah Mallow. She is a positive energy expert and author of 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck. Interesting title, isn't it? And it's already available on Amazon. Go check it out. She's also the founder of The Daily Decisions. And after a successful career as a #1 ranked pharmaceutical sales rep, she shifted her focus to help people build confidence, develop positive habits, and rediscover joy in their lives. Her methods blend practical strategies and science backed tips to inspire optimism, mental well being, and most importantly, resilience. Okay, but before we get started, Deborah, before I welcome you, why should our audience tune into our episode today?
Because we're going to give them a warm hug, make them feel good, and appreciate them so they appreciate themselves. That's why. You.
Love your energy. And all right, so let's get the ball rolling. And before we get into the conversation on the topic at hand, Fewer Days That Suck, the science of positivity with Deborah Mallow. So, folks, before we get started, here's an exciting twist as always. Let us tickle our guest's brain first. So, Deborah, get ready for a rapid fire round of crazy questions. Usually, I ask some random words, but this time I wanted to ask you a few crazy questions. And
Please.
whatever comes to your mind, you need to respond. All right. So, without
Okay.
thinking much,
Let's play.
let's play.
And play along with me. Everybody try it too.
Hello, I'm Steve Ahern, one of the judges of the Asia Podcast Awards. I'm interrupting this episode to let you know that you're listening to an award-winning podcast. This podcast won its category in the 2024 Podcast Awards, so you know you're listening to quality. Enjoy your listening experience, and congratulations to the team who created this award-winning podcast for you.
Yeah, you could also answer as Deborah is responding. You could answer in the form of comments if you're watching this on YouTube. Okay. So, Deborah, here comes my first crazy question. If positivity were a flavor of ice cream, what would it taste like?
Oh, peppermint stick. Oh, I love it because it's fresh and zesty and pink
Mm.
is such an uplifting color. It makes you smile.
Good one. Imagine you wake up one day and every negative thought is visible as a cartoon speech bubble over above your head, right? How would you handle
Mhm.
it?
Oh, I would pop those bubbles one by one. And as I did it, I would counter it. I would flip the script and say something positive about myself, about the day, about people I care about, something positive. Flip the script. That's the key, one key to happiness.
Awesome. And if negativity were a person, how would you describe them and how would you convince them to join your positivity camp?
I would view that person as a dark cloud that sucks the energy out of our day. And I caution people also, it's not mean to get rid of or release the negative people in your life. And I would actually try to help, even though you can't control other people. I would try to help that person and say, do you like being miserable? Why don't you try this? Why don't you try flipping the script and value yourself, see your self worth, and as I always like to say, find your sunshine.
Find your sunshine. Amazing. I love it. And here comes my next question.
Okay.
Suppose you could replace one universal law like gravity with a rule about positivity, what would it be?
One of my faves, the law of attraction, because with that comes the truth is what we put our energy into, what we focus on, believe it or not, if you're a believer or not, that's what becomes more our reality. I don't say everything works out, and life is not perfect, but think about it. The things that you focus on, the things that you put your energy into in a positive way, so many times, all of a sudden, they work out in your life. And that's why the law of attraction is my answer.
Awesome. And
Woohoo! To you too.
yeah, if every time you laughed, something in the world changed for the better, what would you want to change?
Hatred, war, and which has to do with anger and not being kind. That's what I would like to change. And if laughter could do it, because laughter's been called the best medicine, boy, would we have a wonderful world. Let's do it, Naveen. You and I will start the challenge, and everyone join us. Woohoo!
Love it, love it. And Deborah, if you could give a TED talk to aliens about positivity and well-being, what is the one thing you would absolutely have to tell them?
That it's important to nurture your relationships. It's important to value each other, no matter how different we are, aliens or our race, our religion, whatever it is, building that bridge, building that connection, that relationship. We just find such joy when we we give ourselves permission to value another person, to see their gifts and learn from them and grow and share our gifts and become a community supportive with love and kindness. Yep.
Yep, simply fabulous. And thank you for your cooperation. This is the first time I have done a rapid fire round of crazy questions, but your responses are really good. And
Thank you.
thank you for participating in this one. And there is one more rapid fire round toward the end of the episode. So stay tuned. Okay. So
Okay,
first of all,
I'm up for it. I'm excited. Woohoo! Everybody join us. Let's give ourselves a
eh,
hug again.
all right. So Deborah, first of all, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being part of our journey in shaping the careers and lives of millions across the globe. How are you doing today?
Oh my goodness, I'm just so excited. As I told you, my book just released on Amazon, 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck. And I'm just so excited to inspire your audience alongside you because Naveen's podcast to me, I've listened to quite to many episodes. And I just find the diverse guests that he has offering everybody just such interesting topics to just delve into. And then through that, we learn about ourselves and we can apply them to our lives. And so that's why I am just so grateful. And I sort of like begged Naveen, and he knows that, to be on his podcast because I am such a fan. I am. You know it.
No, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. And it's an honor to have you on the show, Deborah. The feeling is
Thank you.
mutual. And let's get the ball rolling. So, talk to us about who is your guiding voice.
As I've learned over time, listen to your inner voice, your intuition. I don't say that
Mm-hmm.
it's always right, but lean into it because we can, over time, fine tune it and it can really help us. Think about it. Even the simplest things like a glass, and I just experienced this, a glass on a counter. You have a feeling that you're going to knock it over, but you don't move it. And then you knock it over. So trust your intuition. Move that glass back, tune in, listen to it when it tells you not to possibly befriend a person or help somebody else. Even though I'm all about kindness and helping people, listen first. Listen really hard because once your awareness is attuned, it's amazing how it becomes your sixth sense, your guiding voice, like the name of this podcast.
All right. That is the whole reason for asking that question because our show itself is the guiding voice, and we wanted to know our guest's guiding voice as well so that our audience can find their guiding voice. All right.
Yes.
Let's move forward. Walk us through your personal journey from a number one ranked sales rep to becoming a positive energy expert and author. So tell me, like, what sparked that change?
The truth is, that's why I'm so good at this. I help my clients. The book, because I actually went through it. I know what it's like to be stuck in a cycle of negativity, to want to thrive in your life. You go after your goals, and it's really important to go after your goals. Yes, because that sense of accomplishment leads to building self-confidence, self-esteem, resilience, all of that. So yes, but we need boundaries and we need to find ways to enjoy life too, not just work, work, work. Get into that negativity. So there I was. As Naveen knows, I live in Manhattan, New York, and I was standing on a subway platform going to another customer. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep for many years for an iconic brand. And all of a sudden, the tears started to roll down my cheeks. And I just couldn't control myself. People were looking at me, what's wrong? And I was able to sort of look at my phone and sort of ignore people because, they think you're talking or something. But what popped into my head was if I don't change, if I don't stop this burnout, this exhaustion, this negative thought pattern, circular thinking, fear, all those things that got in the way of living in the present and enjoying my life, nothing would change. And it was at that moment that I made the decision. And the daily decisions popped into my mind because it really is a choice. We can't control other people, but we can control ourselves. Is it easy? No. We can do it many ways. I chose to work
Yeah.
on myself by myself, but people can go through therapy. It's how it works best for you. But when you make the decision to make a change in your life, to embrace a more positive outlook, boy, does life become easier. As I said, I love now helping people get unstuck and finding their sunshine. It's a common theme.
Yeah, that's a great, inspiring story. And in fact, I wanted to support you on your mission in terms of helping people find their sunshine. So more power to you, Deborah.
Thank, thank
And
you, Naveen.
talk to us about your success mantra, as in
Oh,
top three things that have
yes.
contributed to your success so far.
Yes. So the first thing, what's really important to me, and we talked about this, is positivity. It's really how
Hmm.
we reshape our thoughts and reframe our perspective. It's really true. We can flip the script, and instead of saying, I suck, I messed up, I'm no good, you say, I love learning something new. It's how you flip the script. That's number one. Number two is confidence. Confidence is such an important thing. And why wouldn't we be confident? We let our minds get in the way, tell us stories, but why are we no better than anyone else? We all have our gifts. We need to say, we are who we think we are, because when you think you have a lot to offer and you're wonderful, and that's not a negative thing to believe in yourself, then that's what you put out to the world. And number three is resilience. It's really important to pick ourselves up. Things will not always work out as we want them to, but knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel, today might not be so good, but there's always tomorrow. Never give up hope. It's amazing. That's why in my book, what I do is I tell little stories. They're very short because it's double pages. It can't be long, but it gets to the point. It's little stories about people who overcame their problems. We'll always have problems in life. Life is messy, but how we deal with it, how we reflect, we pause, and then move forward before reacting with anger or with reacting with fear or worry, and building that resilience muscle, because that's something we're not born with, is just a key. So positivity, confidence, self-esteem, and resilience, boy, they can make a happier, easier life for all of us.
Hmm. Superb. Also, tell us if there was a specific aha moment when you realized positivity was the key to living a better life.
And we talked about it. It really was on that New York City subway platform when I just made the decision that I wasn't going to let other people, I wasn't going to let myself, because a lot of it is our thoughts and our
Hmm.
perspective. I wasn't going to let that get in the way of living a wonderful life. And when we're at our best, don't think it's selfish. It's really helpful, because if you're not at your best, how could you be at your best for those you love and the people in your life that truly matter? Because that's what it is. Ask yourself when you're going down a rabbit hole, what really matters? The things we worry about in the moment, do they really matter? What matters is the loved ones, our health. It's the important things. Honestly, we need to reshape our thoughts. It makes such a difference. And positive energy is our friend. Really?
Okay. All right. I think that's a life changing scenario and the situation which now is has become a boon to people who are stuck, right? So they are seeking your
Yes.
support and you have been guiding them. Now let's talk a bit about your book, Six Steps to
Right.
Fewer Days That Suck. So can you share a sneak peek into one or two of these steps?
Actually, as I told you, Naveen, the steps interrelate. It it's not a chapter book, it's not a sermon, it's not a graphs and telling you what to do. It's simple things to do for instant gratification. Maybe these things you know, but it's implementing them. And sometimes when you hear it a certain way, and I try to do it in bullet points, in sound bites, in visuals, not drawing something out, but paint a visual in your mind. So I broke it down into the decision. Daily decisions determine destiny. Whether you believe in fate, whether you believe, however you believe it, we have to be present and accountable in our own lives. And then it's ditching bad habits. Is that easy? No. But negativity bias is real. And when we realize that it has nothing to do with us, it sort of goes back to our ancestors, the early humans, that our brains tend to favor negative over positive. It's then we can reshape our thoughts. We can stop ourselves from going down the rabbit hole. I find it really important to understand the why behind things, because when you understand the why, that's when you can make the change and you can stop yourself easily. After that, it's the mindset. It's our mindset that can set us free, reshaping our thoughts, reframing our perspective. And then after that is the actions we take. We control our actions, whether we want to get angry or we want to stop ourselves and pause first and rethink what we're doing and calm ourselves down. Because remember always, you're doing this for you. It's not for someone else. You're doing this to preserve your and conserve your energy, your beautiful life. Think about it as cherishing yourself, because we should. Why shouldn't we? Then we can love others so much more deeply. And then after the action, it's the attitude, which is different than mindset. So it's our attitude, how we want to approach every day. I get up every morning, I smile, and I say something positive to myself to prevent and stop that cortisol spike, which is just naturally occurring and starts that negativity in our mind and the anxiety and stress. So it's how we want to approach the day, our life, other people, not to let them upset us or frustrate us. And then 6, going back to the decision, we circle back, and it's the commitment, making a commitment to yourself. Because as I said, it's again, this is for you. Why shouldn't you enjoy your life? Every day won't be peachy, and some days might feel like the pits, but it's how we react. It's how we think and feel that can make a difference. And it's up to us to set those guidelines in our own brain. So that's it. And my favorite one, they all interrelate. I ultimately love the commitment, because I think when you make a commitment to somebody, to yourself, to a loved one, honoring it, actually doing it, it builds that sense of pride, that accomplishment. Whatever we accomplish makes us feel so good. So let's do that for ourselves and be proud of ourselves, not go down a rabbit hole. And little steps, remember this, lead to big changes over time.
Mhm. So one thing what I could say is you are the master of your life and own your decisions, right? So make those little steps and also very well summarized.
I
And
love the way you said that. That's it. You're the master of your life. You know what? I didn't need to say anything. You could have just said that, but I sort of explained it and you summed it up. Naveen, you are the best. He's so insightful.
I'm,
Woo!
I'm looking forward to read the book now. And Deborah, you have mentioned the science behind changing negative habits into positive ones, right? So what is one science-backed tip to start this transformation?
And I talked about negativity bias, and I'm going to
Hmm.
back it up with a few things,
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
to understand why you're going negative, not blame yourself, but be so hyper aware of the fact that when you do, you stop yourself and flip the script, because it's so easy to go negative. But what happens is when you flip the script and say something positive, This is so wonderful to know. Our brains seek patterns, they really do. So, if you then take that knowledge and start to make positive patterns, that's what's going to stick. Every time you feel negative, I say smile. I know that's counterintuitive, but smile because smiling, just try it. All of a sudden, you feel something in your heart and you feel good. It boosts our endorphins, as does laughter. Laughter's the best medicine. There's something true to those old tales, those old adages. And the other thing is eating properly. Yes, we all like the junk food, but think about it. There's even foods that boost our endorphins, researched by science, like dark chocolate or salmon or leafy greens and nuts, yogurt. There's certain things that do that, as does exercise and walking. If exercise isn't your real thing, take a walk with a loved one. Take a walk with yourself, because walking is also, research suggests that it actually decreases stress, the sensitivity to stress and pain. And it really does. Think about it. When you're walking, you're out in nature, the wind kissing your cheek, it just makes you feel so alive. You're boosting your endorphins. So it's little things like that, the science behind things. And I talk more about that in my book, even about intuition and the science behind it, because it's really, really true. And I break it down simply. There's no hardcore anything in it. It's just for instant gratification, to be able to remember this in the moment when you're about to go down the rabbit hole and flip your script. So there you go with the science. It's our friend.
Great. Awesome. In fact, I exercise every day, and also I have been taking I've been going on walks as well for last 1.5 year, and I can see a lot of positive things once after starting walking. And I'm sure, I think, audience, if you are not already walking, please start small and give it a try. Definitely will see positive difference. And Deborah, let's move forward. So, if someone were to welcome more joy into their lives, right, what will be one quick tip to the audience?
To be personally considerate to yourself, to care about yourself enough to honor your dignity and defend your value. We all have value to give, but we have to believe that we have a lot to offer. And then that sense of accomplishment really brings us so much joy, amongst other things. But pride, whether it's your family, whether it's your work, whatever it is, that brings us such joy. So create ways to add that pride into your life, to value yourself, to honor your dignity, because we all deserve to love each other. Don't think that's selfish. Don't think that's vain, because that's when you can really love deeply other people. Add that
Mhm.
empathy into your life. Yeah.
Wow. And a while ago, you mentioned about the circular thinking, right? So,
Yeah.
how would you recommend tackling circular thinking and stress? About stress, you mentioned going on a walk and exercising, physical activity would do, but most importantly, how to tackle the circular thinking in today's fast-paced world.
Let me preface it with this. There was a
Hmm.
study by researchers out of Penn State in the United States,
Right.
a university well regarded. And what the research showed is that 91% of what we worry about never happens. Yikes! Why are we wasting our time worrying, circular thinking, making up stories in our minds about what could be? So I don't worry anymore. And so that's what I want to offer is, as soon as a worry begins, remind yourself, chances are it's never going to happen 9% of the time. So let's wait till it happens before we develop a million scenarios, because those scenarios will never happen. Something else will. Think back on all the times you worried. And you know what? What I'm saying, what that research shows is really true. So the first thing is to stop ourselves. Again, it's all about flipping the script. I'm big on flipping the script because we have the choice to make something positive or negative. So that's the first thing. And then once we do is breathing, distracting yourself from the worry, doing something else, because chances are it's not going to happen. So when you distract yourself, you stop your worrying. Is this easy? Might not be at first, but again, our brains seek patterns. So remembering that, we will create more positive patterns for ourselves and make our lives easier. Get unstuck. Get out of those bad habits. Ditch them. Yeah, really, truly.
Yeah, got it. And sometimes we go through life's most difficult moments, right? So, how can we cultivate positivity and optimism during those times?
And it's true. And knowing that is really important because we're not going to, sad things that happen in our lives, people die, we lose jobs, the things that could be devastating to us. Yes, they're very sad and they will happen. There's no such thing as perfect, and that's not going to happen. So it's how we react. Everything is how we react when we get angry. It's just about stopping ourselves. Yes, you deserve to feel what you feel. We're human beings. Never would I say that you don't feel these emotions. You do, and they're real. But it's all about how we handle them. And honestly, handling them with grace, with dignity, valuing ourselves, it allows us to deal with difficult situations with less stress. Will there be stress? Yes, there's stress in life. It just is the way it is. But how we handle it, how we work through things, knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel, having that perspective to move forward and helping other people in our circle do the same, because doing things in a community in a positive way truly helps us get through the difficult times. Lean on those positive people. The negative people won't be able to help you, but you can help each other. And that's what's truly important. And you can help yourself have an easier time with dealing with difficult situations, grief, loss, all the things that will happen in our lives. It's just the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah, if I were to summarize, I think this too shall pass, right?
That's a beautiful
This
way.
too.
You always sum it up right. This
All
too
right.
shall
So, Deborah, this is
Yes.
such an incredible and insightful conversation, and it's time for us to add some spice and excitement to the episode.
I'm all about that.
So it's time for us to
Let's
kick off the
go.
second rapid fire round. Awesome, awesome. My first bullet is, if you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Be kind and give yourself a hug every day. Kind to yourselves, kind to other people. The world needs more kindness. It
Yeah,
does.
yeah, conquer. And describe yourself in just one word.
I'm going to do this for you. Sunshine.
Amazing, amazing.
That's what I
And
want.
one thing that never fails to make you smile.
My favorite Swiss chocolate. A little pricey, but it's delicious. I get it from Valentine's Day, on Valentine's Day from my husband. It's called, let me see if I can pronounce it correctly. It's Laderach. So it's pronounced Laderach.
Later,
Sort of the German, later, but it's
later.
yummy and happy.
Oh, I see. I need to try that next time.
Oh my gosh. You'll be
What's your
hooked.
favorite? Yeah, what's your favorite motivational quote or mantra?
Revision is a decision.
Okay,
3 words.
wonderful.
It is.
Mm, mm. And a morning routine or a night routine, what's more important to you?
Morning, because I am a morning person. I get up at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I just love the morning because it represents a new day. It represents a new beginning. It just, some people love the evening and reflecting and everything. I just like the morning. I just like the idea of the sun rising, just sunshine. It makes me happy.
Okay, here comes my next one. One book you think everyone should read other than your own book.
Of course. The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Love that book. I actually have laminated his Four Agreements. Oh my gosh. Don't ask me to repeat them because I can't say it like he does, but oh my goodness. Just like you simplify things, get to the
Mhm.
nut of the crux of what the meaning is. He does it so well. So well.
Wow, wow. Okay, a personal habit you can't live without.
A personal habit?
Yeah.
Smiling. That's my habit, smiling and I'll add laughing, but one word, smiling. I just
Yeah.
because it's do you know this? It's besides making us feel good and boosting our endorphins, smiling is gifting happiness. And
Yeah.
if I could give somebody a little bit of happiness in a day where they're struggling, I've done my job.
Super. Awesome.
Thank
All right.
you.
So here comes the last one for the second rapid fire round. If you could
Okay.
take just one step from your 6 steps and apply it to everyone's life, which one would be and why?
So as I said when we were talking about the steps, I really like the commitment. And what I say is, why make a compromise when you can make a commitment? And that is referring to our best lives. Why compromise your best life? Why take that away from yourself? Be on your deathbed and say, why did I make it so difficult? Because that's what a lot of people say when you can actually, in the present, make that change. Revision is a decision, and why make a compromise when you can make a commitment?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. After that amazing second rapid fire round, here comes the last question from the mainstream. What is your advice for people who feel stuck in negativity and can't seem to break free?
And as I said before, give yourself a hug, give yourself permission to give yourself some grace, to stop being so hard on yourself, and try that flipping the script when you think everything is so overwhelming. Think of something to make you happy and do that. And constantly, when you go down a rabbit hole, you're about to do that, flip the script. Just please just try it, because I think once you try it, you'll see that the brain will kick in, and those positive patterns you create, you'll start to love the feeling that it creates in you, a happier feeling. And I honestly think that it will make a change in your life. And little steps, as I said before, over time lead to big changes. And why shouldn't you value your life? Don't dread it, embrace it, cherish it, make it the best it can be for yourself and those who join in. And boy, am I happy that I got to join Naveen on this podcast. See? It's just simple things like that. It doesn't have to be big things, but something like this, being on Naveen's podcast, and I'm not making this up. This is true joy. I feel it right here. Those are the things that we need to value. Try it.
Yeah, sure. And this has been great conversation with a lot of practical nuggets of wisdom, and I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. And how is your experience being hosted on TGV?
One word, exhilarating,
Oh my God.
because your questions are so helpful for people. And the fact that the way you summed up what I said, I think people listening will find value. And I just know we can all make changes if we make the decision and the commitment to reshape our thoughts and reframe our perspective. So it's been exhilarating. I value you, and I'm so grateful for this time. Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the kind words. And also thank you for spending your valuable time with us. And looking forward to hosting you again in the future. And I wish your book a grand success. Okay, let us meet after the grand success and do one more episode.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's 6 steps to fewer days that suck. And we all need that. And it's easy, instant gratification, a warm hug. So thank you for letting everybody know. I appreciate it because it's really just to help other people. No other reason did I write it, because I know it helped me. It was my guidebook. And I really hope it helps other people enjoy more and worry less.
Yes, I'm sure it will. And thank you once again. So, friends, that was our episode with Deborah Mallow. Before we jump into the fun trivia section, yeah, a quick request. If you haven't already subscribed to TGV, please subscribe. And also, if you're listening to the show on Apple or Spotify podcast, request you to hit the follow button and also leave a rating and review so that it will help reach wider audience. And if you have enjoyed the conversation, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who would also like TGV. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now it's time for us to cruise into the trivia segment of today's episode. So today's trivia is about 2 lesser known and surprising facts about negative thoughts. The first one is negative thoughts can be contagious. Yes, you heard it right. Just like catching a cold, being around people with a negative mindset can infect you with negativity. And this phenomena is called emotional contagion. Our brains naturally mirror the emotions of those around us. So if someone constantly complains or dwells on the negative, your brain might unconsciously start doing the same. This is why choosing your social circle wisely is crucial for maintaining a positive outlook. So, just in case if you want proof, you can think about people in your office or people into your workplace who are around you, who are constantly nagging about the boss or who are constantly nagging about the policies in the organizations and all. And if they leave the organization, there is a high likelihood of people who used to be with them also leave the organization, which is not good. And second fact is about your brain gives more weight to negative thoughts. As Deborah has also mentioned, right, our brains are hardwired with a negativity bias, meaning we process and remember negative events more vividly than the positive ones. And this survival mechanism helped our ancestors stay alert to dangers like predators. However, in modern life, this bias can make us obsess over minor setbacks and ignore our wins, amplifying stress and anxiety unnecessarily. Sounds crazy, right? So, our brains sometimes feel like they are stuck in prehistoric alert mode instead of the celebration mode. All right, so this is all from my side from trivia perspective. So, don't ever get into negative thought. And folks, I would like to understand from you what are you doing to deal with the negative thoughts and to boost the positivity and optimism. Do let me know if you're watching this episode on YouTube, you can comment there. Or if you found this episode on social media platforms, you can comment there as well. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest and an interesting topic. Until next time, take care. Bye bye. Love you all. Bye bye.